My father was one of the most selfish human beings you will ever meet, like disgustingly so. Only moving and thinking of himself, which is why to consider revenge against him would be foolish and even heartbreaking. He just did not care at all about destroying people. If he hurt you, you were hurt, not him. It is a truth I carry with me as I date men, and I think many women do as well. It is why we start WhatsApp or Facebook groups or go on TikTok rants about men, even naming names. Men will kill you and truly walk away acting like you do not have life to begin with. This felt especially true and daunting when one of the best dates of my life turned out to be married. There we were drinking and sharing plates, the chemistry palpable. I always look at surrounding tables, fellow couples, to see how their dates are going because it is fascinating. You have the sexual couple that have enough chemistry between them to light the place on fire. They kiss and touch as if no one is looking, but my eyes are watching. When it comes to PDA, I watch average couples like Bridgerton with romantic longing. If you show it, it's because you want me to see it. Already my new guy was holding my hand like the Netflix series, delicately and sweetly. Meanwhile, a couple next to us that were married might have taken a vow of silence. I can never imagine being in a relationship where I could not have fun and laugh with someone. That was what was so tragic and dangerous about my toxic exes. I liked them. When they were not trying to destroy themselves or me, they could be really funny, surprisingly thoughtful and cultured. They were selectively intimate, weaponizing physicality and vulnerability as the tools they used before they were about to break my heart into another bad situation, or after it, either way with the same intention of softening the blow. Even my dad, if he made me cry hard enough, would give me a hug and try to bring up a new TV show he was watching, remarking that out of all his children, I shared his entertainment tastes. Yet, new guy felt different. Chemical. He was intriguing in conversation, handsome in features, and the sexual chemistry was at the bed of our date, laying a foundation that would have been great until he said he was married. I still remember how much he smiled before. Suddenly he grimaced like a man that had eaten too much sugar and felt his stomach abruptly rumble. It was as if he became Icarus before my son and just crashed like a Greek tragedy before me. Something wrong? I asked. Nothing. Um, uh, I'm gonna go text my wife, he said, looking at me as if I needed to confirm to him that he had one. He looked lost, oddly enough, because he was being honest for the first time, and I felt like trash. Your wife? I said to play it cool, which is so dumb. I hate that when someone is about to rip my heart out, I try to act like I barely feel a pinch. It is something I'm trying to reconcile with, for being someone known as emotionally transparent. For all that everyone says I am expressive, I still go to bed every night feeling and fearing I have not said everything I want to say about everything. Unfortunately, I was still in the height of my people-pleasing era. Thus, back then, I would play demure and dumb for men. Now I'll kill 'em. To be fair, I've never been one for immediate reactions. If anything, Daddy Recovery is proof. I'm barely just rummaging through my childhood and some makeshift courage to speak on my father's abusive, conniving ways, of which new guy oddly triggered. The entire night of jubilant flirtation diminished into two questions. Were you just using me to feel alive in your loveless marriage? Worse, were you planning to have an affair with me? Over the years, my father's petri dish knack for changing storylines transformed my mother into his legal other wife, into some sort of seductress that might have been in on his bigamy with the intention of getting a TLC special. As the years got materially better for him, he became spiritually decrepit, and our genuinely good souls evaporated under his gossip tongue. All that flushed over me, as I did not know how badly to react to something that slowly was revealing itself as putrid. I really liked this guy, and call me romantic, but he was feeding fantasies like the one where you retell your wedding party how you just knew on the first date. Yet the crashing revelation of his marital status made me wonder if anything was real. If, like my father, these were men trying to revive the dead parts of themselves with what society trained them to believe could, women. He looked flummoxed and tried to act like the date was actually a friendship date, as if those happen between men and women, or at least married men and single women. And he was just trying to see if we could be buddies. Yet that attempt died quickly, as he realized when he said out loud how stupid he sounded. I wish I could tell you I was dramatic and nasty towards him, but I was actually banal and quiet, trying to manage the rush of discouragement and the inner yells of my depression calling me home to my bed like it was a graveyard. He did not try to explain his intentions, and they did not matter. I was not curious about him anymore. His charm wiped off of me like mud from an old boot. Yet it was those 7 hours of hope that led me to 7 months of saying F the apps. I'm no longer dating. It may sound ridiculous, but that is how much energy a woman has to gain to date. Men will date so many wonderful women and divide them mentally between those that harden their peen and the ones that soften their heart. For us, there's just too much at stake, like our literal bodies or our reputation, our futures. What is crazy is that technically I am lucky he shat himself in fear and revealed he was married. To date is an act of trust, and that you, the man, will not kill me or break my heart/life. Had he continued, I could have been like my mom, within months looking for our shared apartment and planning our destination wedding, all while his wife started Lamaze classes. Then what? Either I or she finds out, and after we are popping babies, he gets to decide who stays with who and what child he supports. Nah, it's a nightmare. So my mom didn't find out my dad had another family until like 3 years. It was 3 years into the marriage. And it was very hard for her beyond all the information because my father, she explained it was wonderful. Like they were really, really in love. And I do believe her because my father was obsessed with my mother, obsessed, which is why she couldn't understand why he hated me so much. But his obsession, the weird thing about my father's obsession with my mother is that it didn't necessarily transfer into good treatment. It was still very much like, you make me feel good. You make me happy. I don't need to make you happy. You're happy when I'm happy. And this guy, what broke my heart was that I really liked him. Like it was, I think we all hear about the people that just knew that, like the star-crossed lovers, the love at first sight. It felt like that. It felt like this magic cosmic boom. And it was so hard not to feel like, oh my God, this might be the one. We're definitely getting a second date. And it's so strange because we're like 4 or 5 hours into the date, which if you're in a 7-hour date, 8-hour date or something like this means something, right? We had been on the date for quite a few hours and it was just talking and flirting and like touching each other. And it was magnetic. And then all of a sudden he goes, his face, I'll never forget it. He was smiling, like we were smiling the whole time. And then all of a sudden this I'm trying to find the words. His face totally changed. He looked so nervous, so pale. And I think it was that he kind of picked up. He realized, oh shit, like I might be starting an affair right now. And I don't even think he did it for me. He did it for himself and the guilt he had, because I'm sure in his head, it was just a date. She'll move on. Like he doesn't know my personal history. And he also isn't a woman and he doesn't understand that dating for us is totally different. Like there are so many jerks. Like men will meet fantastic, 50 million fantastic, wonderful women and just kind of go on chemistry and whether they're exhausted enough to actually build a relationship. I'm tired of dating and you're great. For women, we meet a lot of horrible, horrible guys. And even the guys that aren't horrible can't believe that other guys are horrible. So for us, it's a lot of like building our energy, and we're never without a level of double consciousness, right? Because of things like this, where it's like we're having a great day. Oh, he's married. Or I always mention my friend, like she was dating this guy and he didn't even live in the country. He was there for like 2 weeks and he said he lived in the city. And, we're so jaded. And to men, that's, I think in their perspective, I did it for me, right? I did it for the experience. I did it to know if I still had it in me. Maybe I did it to have an affair. But either way, he was the center of his own desires and his prerogative. And I feel like the center of my prerogative when it comes to romance and dating is to find a partner. And like most women, we're just looking for a partner, and now more than ever, women are so educated. They're really working on themselves to heal themselves and feel love for themselves because how hard dating is and because of this old school image, especially given to women, that men will fulfill you, that men will be partners to you. I'm the daughter of my mom, and so many of my friends, we saw our mothers, our aunts, our cousins, our sisters, our grandmas, be married to men that may have been our family, but they were horrible. You wouldn't pick them as partners and even sabotage them as partners. And when you grow up with that, as so many women do, there's just this feeling of like, I know men can destroy, and I don't want to be destroyed. I don't. I really, really don't. And that, it was such a close call, and it made me feel really obviously bad for my mom because it's so, I always say, and I feel really bad, I think it's super tragic that we underestimate how good liars are. We kind of act like there's just no way. She didn't see, she didn't understand, the red flags were smacking her. Don't underestimate a good liar. This guy didn't even have pictures of his wife. Maybe he has like 2 Instagram accounts. He never wore his wedding ring because the worst part is I met him at a party and we were talking the night away. We had pure chemistry. And then like a few days later, we were on our date. So this wasn't like a Bumble kind of thing, although I kind of ended the episode with like F the apps. It was really that I'm just done dating. Like I felt what was so tragic for me, like obviously there was a lot of tragic elements, was I met him. I liked him and we went on the date. And I had gone on so many dates on the apps that were absolutely atrocious. Men lie. They said they want a relationship. They don't, and sometimes I wish that the ease and that kind of old school, we met, at work, we met hanging out with friends. Like, it's very hard to meet people nowadays and then figure out love from those meetings. And we all hear the legend of the love at first sight. And this felt like that. And to know that my luck, like literally the only thing that I was lucky was that he felt bad and he fed it. And then he got really flustered. And like the last hour of our date was just us trying to figure out how to exit it. He was trying to like say, oh, maybe I misinterpreted or maybe I miscommunicated. Married men don't try to make friends with single women at parties and then ask them out on a date. So he got screwed with that part and he kind of realized it. And I was just like, I went from the highest high to the lowest low, like within seconds. And the crash of it was really hard because it's just, that those inner dark voices come out and they're like, you're never going to find love. Why do you even try? Go back home. You could have ended up like your mom. And it just, until this day, he's one of the best dates. We had a fantastic chemistry. If he was lying, he's a fantastic liar. I mean, he was lying, but if he was lying about the chemistry, he was doing great in that too. And I think that breaks my heart too. that one of the best dates I ever had, the closest call to me saying, God, maybe you can know on the first date if they're the one. He was married. I never saw him again, never heard of him from him again. He did not apologize. He kind of just like exited his body almost because the mood was such a drop. I can't even describe it. Like we were peaking and yeah. So these are the things that women face, men. Before you go off, no way. Good luck, ladies. Good healing to everyone. And check out daddyrecovery.com. And please check out Deandra on all platforms for my new music, Business Class, out May 23rd. The Legend of Mr. H. Yeah.